So once again, I do want to welcome everyone to today's All About Zoom webinar. My name is Raul Montez. I'm a Content Marketing Manager here at Zoom, located at our headquarters here in downtown San Jose, California. In today's webinar, we're going to touch on our Zoom meeting platform. So for those of you that are new to Zoom, if you just set up an account, this will give you a nice walkthrough of those different features and capabilities. So today we'll touch on how to schedule your Zoom meetings. I'll walk you through the interface itself. We'll touch on the recording feature, the breakout room feature, as well as our desktop client. So kind of a little bit of everything here. Now, I do want to point out that we're actually using our webinar platform to host today's webinar. So it's a little bit different than a regular Zoom meeting. Here, it's more of a one-way video and audio going out. So as an attendee, you're just basically listening and viewing. Keep in mind, if you have any questions, you'll see the Q&A feature on your screen. Go ahead and submit your questions through that feature, and I'll try to answer as many questions as possible. For those of you that set up an account, I'll explain what you get with our free account. With our free account, you can host unlimited meetings, up to 50 participants in your meetings, audio with teleconferencing, as well as voice over IP. You can record all of your meetings directly to your own computer. You, of course, have access to the desktop client to schedule, start, and join meetings, as well as the mobile app. So with the mobile app, you'll also be able to schedule, start, as well as join meetings from your tablet or mobile device. So if you have not yet downloaded that, make sure you download the app. That also syncs up with our desktop client, and I'll go into a little more detail on that a little bit later on. Now, with the free account, I do want to point out that there is a 40-minute cap on your meetings when there are more than 2 people in your meeting. So when that third person joins, that's when the 40 minutes will start, and you'll get a prompt 10 minutes before that 40 minutes is up. For those of you here on any sort of paid plan, pro, business, education, there is no 40-minute cap. There is no hard stop. We also offer different add-ons, so there's some different audio packages you could purchase and add to your paid subscription. Another add-on, for example, would be our webinar platform, in case you're looking to host larger scale events. Webinar platform is a paid add-on to a paid plan. And if you have any questions with some of the add-ons that I mentioned here, definitely get in contact with one of our reps. They'll be more than happy to provide you with some details on pricing. For those of you here that are also looking to maybe set up a conference room, maybe a small huddle space, we do offer our own conferencing rooms, which is our Zoom rooms. It's actually our software-defined video conferencing solution. And I'll see if I can share a quick video on that a little bit later on. Now, today I'm actually using my laptop to host today's webinar. I'm using my external camera here instead of my internal camera. So in your own meetings, you can actually switch from your internal or external camera. There's also the option to have a second camera set up, so you can actually get 2 different angles, I guess, if you will, if you have multiple cameras connected. Let's go ahead and jump right into it here. I'm going to log into my account and show you how simple it is for you to schedule your Zoom meetings. There's actually a couple of different options when it comes to scheduling your meetings. You can, of course, log into your account from our website. Just go to zoom.us and log in with your credentials there. It's going to take you to the My Meetings tab here. You can also, of course, bring up your desktop client. From the home screen, you'll have the option to schedule a meeting. There's also the option to join a meeting by entering someone's meeting ID. And of course, don't forget with the mobile app, you're also able to schedule, start, and join your meetings from there. For those of you that might be using, say, Outlook or, say, Google Calendar, we do offer plugins. Scroll down to the footer of your account or our website, and you'll see toward the bottom there the download section. For example, browser extension, Outlook plugin. You can actually click on this link, and it'll give you the full list. With the Outlook plugin, you'd be able to open up, say, a calendar event, and from there there'll be an option to make it a Zoom meeting. That'll generate the email invitation for you, and then from there, of course, you can just invite your guests. So definitely take advantage of the download section here. All right, from your Zoom account, My Meetings, you'll see the tab Schedule a Meeting. Very simple. These are the same options you would go through with the desktop client as well as with the mobile app. So very straightforward. So here, enter your meeting topic. I'll just type in demo. We'll choose a different date. I'll leave the time alone, and we'll just change the duration of the meeting. Make this a quick 30-minute meeting. I'm on the West Coast, so obviously here it's going to default to Pacific time. If I want to set this up as a reoccurring meeting, just check this box. There is no date and time. The invitation that it generates will stay the same. So that means the meeting ID and join link will stay the same. So you can actually copy this into your own, say, calendar system, set it up as a reoccurring meeting there. Maybe it's a Thursday meeting you want to have, and that meeting ID and link, as I mentioned, will stay the same. Video options for yourself and your participants. So when you actually join the meeting, your video can be automatically on or off. Keep in mind, of course, in the meeting, you can actually enable or disable your video at any time. Audio options, I always leave both so people can dial in using the toll number or join in through voice over IP. I'm using my wireless headset here. This one actually can connect to my phone and to my computer, but I'm usually joining in through voice over IP. Meeting options, so here, if you want to set up your password, you can do that. Just check this box, enter your meeting password there. If you want to allow people to join before you do, enable join before host. And this feature has just been added. I believe it's a beta version here, but mute participants on entry. So when people join your meeting, they'll be automatically muted. This feature, you can actually fire up your meeting and go into your participants list. There's a drop-down menu under the More icon or the More button, which would let you activate this feature. So if you don't see that in your own scheduler just yet, fire up your meeting, go to the participants list, and I'll show you actually a little bit later on where you can activate this feature in your own meetings. Your attendees will still be able to hear and see everything that's going on, but their line will be automatically muted as far as the audio. All right. Also, everyone who sets up an account, free or paid, you are assigned a personal meeting ID number, so kind of your own personal meeting room. So this happens to be my meeting ID number that's been assigned to my account here. For those of you on paid plans, you can actually edit this number. We get people that are usually editing and using their cell phone numbers because it's easier for them to remember. They can say, hey, go to zoom.us, click on the option join a meeting, and enter this meeting ID, and you will have access to my personal meeting room. So basically, we'll be able to jump into that room. So very straightforward here. Once I'm ready to click on schedule, from this point, I can add to calendar, a couple of options that you'll see here. Scroll down, I can copy the join URL or click on copy invitation. All I need to do is copy and paste this into my own email system and then send that off. So pretty straightforward when it comes to that. Once you are ready to fire up your meeting, go to the My Meetings tab, upcoming meeting, you'll see this demo that we just scheduled. Click on start, that'll fire up the meeting. You can also bring up your desktop client, and then from there you can actually go to, let me stop my annotations. From there I can actually click on the meetings icon. Upcoming will give you a list of all of your upcoming meetings. Right now these options are grayed out because I'm already in a meeting. So from here I can just click on start. And of course with the mobile app. So if you have the mobile app, you can also start your meeting from there. Now once you actually start the meeting, so once it gets fired up, you're going to get the prompt when you join to join in on the audio. Now everyone always has the option to join in audio through the computer and by phone using a toll number. Some of you might see some different options depending on the type of account that has been set up for you. So as I mentioned, some add-ons, for example, toll-free numbers. Another add-on would be the Call Me feature. This would allow you and your attendees to type in your phone number and the system will automatically call you back. So when you fire up your own meeting and you see this prompt, you might see some of these different options if they have been added to your current paid subscription. But as I mentioned, audio through the computer and of course by phone using a toll number, that is always available. All right, now when it comes to the video, join the meeting, everyone's jumping on, everyone's on video, everyone's looking good. You have the option to view by gallery view and by speaker view. So there's actually a couple of different ways you can view those video panels. So when you're not sharing your desktop or an application, you can view by gallery view. So this can be up to 25 video panels per page. If there are more than 25 people in your meeting, you can actually skip to the next page to view the next set of video panels. And these will resize depending on the number of people that are actually in your meeting. So for example, here with this screenshot, I took a quick screenshot of a meeting that the marketing team, the rest of the marketing team was in one of our Zoom rooms or conference rooms inside Broncos. I was actually at my desk, but I was using the virtual background, which we just added. This background behind me is actually not one of the virtual background features or one of the images, but I'll show you how you can actually get to your own settings. Works with the green screen or a nice solid color. Here I happen to be in one of our Zoom rooms or conference rooms. So they're doing, it looks like they're doing a couple updates to it, so I kind of snuck in here to use this specific room. But here with the screenshot, as I mentioned, these will resize depending on the number of people in the meeting, and of course on video. So I was at my desk, the rest of the team was in one of our Zoom rooms, a conference room, and Janelle was joining remote from home. Now if you switch over to say speaker view, what that's going to do is basically have the active speaker right in the middle, and right above that will be a thumbnail strip that you can scroll across to view the other video panel feeds. As an attendee, you can also right-click on someone's video panel and pin their video feed on your computer. As the host, you can right-click on someone's video and spotlight video. spotlight that person's video for everyone in your meeting. So a couple of different options when it comes to those video panels. Now, if and when you decide to share, your desktop or an application, from that point, the video panels can be viewed by small or large thumbnail. So say, for example, the active speaker, also by thumbnail strip. So that would be up to 4. You can scroll up and down those different video feeds. If you look right above my video panel, you'll see the option for small or large thumbnail. Somewhere toward the right above that video panel, or maybe top right of your screen, there's one more option. That's going to allow you to basically switch the views from content to video. So what I mean by that is, actually you can test it out right now. What that's going to do is push me to that full screen view, and it's going to move my PowerPoint presentation that I'm sharing right now into my panel that I'm in right now. So if you switch, it'll basically just switch those views for you. So at any time in your own meetings, or even obviously here with the webinar platform, when someone is sharing content, everyone else has the option to basically switch that view. So you can definitely test that out for yourself right now. Now, with the interface itself, very straightforward. Let me activate my little laser spotlight feature here, annotation tool. So from here, when you are not sharing content, you're going to see this tray here at the bottom. Right now, I'm sharing my presentation, so there's actually a floating tool tray right at the very top of my screen, where I'm able to get to my audio, so I can mute or unmute my audio. I can enable or disable my video. I can also get to my settings. There's an in-meeting invite option in case you need to invite others directly from your Zoom meeting. Manage participants, that'll bring up your participants list. I'll go through that in a moment. Share screen, so don't forget, of course, with Zoom, you're able to share anything you have access to from your computer, your network, or through a browser. That includes any sort of videos. We get the question that always comes up, hey, I want to share a video for my YouTube channel, or I'm going to be hosting a training session this week, and I need to share some product videos. Very simple. I'll show you what the different share screen options. When you're sharing a video, there's one feature that you want to check, and that'll make sure that the audio streams to your computer speakers, to your attendees. I can actually demo that in a moment and share a quick video with everyone. So I'll show you what those different options look like in a moment. Chat window, so you can use that to send out messages publicly or privately. The record feature, of course, for those of you on a free account, you can record all of your Zoom meetings directly to your own computer. For those of you here on paid plans, take a look at your account. If you have access to cloud recording, you'll be able to record your Zoom meetings directly to your Zoom account, where you can send links for people to view those recordings from there. I'll dig a little bit deeper on the recording feature as we move along. Closed caption, so I have that feature checked in my profile settings. If we have some time, actually a little bit later on, I can log into my account and show you how you can get to all of your profile account settings. So maybe you want to enable or disable certain features. I'll show you how you can get to those. Closed captioning, so I can choose to type out the closed caption myself, or I can assign someone else that privilege to basically type it all out during the meeting. Breakout rooms, so this can allow you to break up your participants into their own rooms. They have their own audio, video, they're able to share content. You as a host can actually jump in and out of those different breakout room sessions. You can also remove or move people around within those sessions. And I'll dig a little bit deeper on that as we move along. All right, now when it comes to the participants list and the chat window, I'll cover this here real quick. So when you bring up your participants list, of course it's going to give you a list of everyone that's in your meeting. In there, if you click on someone's name, or if you look right next to someone's name here, you have the option to mute or unmute that specific person. The more option will bring up these different menu options here. Let me move my little annotation tray out of my way. So I can privately chat with Aaron. I can ask him to start his video, or I can disable his video in case he was already on video. I can also pass a host role, so if I needed to leave this meeting to join someone else's Zoom meeting, I can give Aaron that host role, and he has basically full control of the meeting. There's also a co-host option. This is great in case maybe you want to have someone monitor the audio. You want to leave the phone lines unmuted, but in case there's any background noise, the co-host can just kind of go down the list and unmute people or mute people as needed. Allowed to record, so people that are in your meeting, you can actually give them the privilege to record their meeting directly to their own computer. Assigned to type closed caption, so here's that option. You can rename someone in the list. You can put an attendee on hold. So this is great, for example, if you are booking, say, back-to-back meetings with your personal meeting ID. That meeting link stays the same. So I was meeting with Aaron, and then someone else joins. I can obviously greet them and put them on hold until I'm ready to bring them back into the main meeting. So that will basically put them in a holding pattern. And of course, you can remove someone from your meeting. Toward the bottom here in the participants list, you can mute or unmute the entire group all at once. The more option here is to mute participants on entry. You can play a soundbite when someone joins or leaves your meeting. You can lock your meeting. You can also lock screen share. So as I mentioned, you could share anything you have access to from your own computer, network, or browser, and so can your attendees. If you want to disable that feature, you can lock screen share so only you as the host can share content. All right, with the chat window, you can use that to send out messages publicly or privately. Send file, so the more option. Now I can click on send file, browse my computer in case I want to make a file available for others to download. This is great, for example, if you're using the remote control feature. In your Zoom meetings, you can pass control of your computer to someone else. So maybe you're collaborating on a spreadsheet that you're sharing, PowerPoint, whatever the case may be. Save the changes, click on send file, make that file available for them to download. All right, now when it comes to, real quick here with the in-meeting invite option, you can invite people by email. There's also the option to invite by Zoom's instant messaging client. Let me move this little tray here. All right. So invite by email, a couple of different options that you'll see here. You can also, of course, provide someone the meeting ID number, have them go to our website, join from there, copy the URL or the invitation, paste it into your own email system, and send that off. Invite by instant messenger, so this applies to Zoom's instant messaging client, our desktop client that I brought up earlier. So in there, of course, I have all of my contacts, so everyone here at Zoom. They'll also show up here under this option, so I can just check people off and then instantly invite them to this meeting. Keep in mind, people that you invite to your Zoom meetings do not need to have an account with Zoom. But if they do, you can add it to your contacts. So in the desktop client, it'll show up here in the instant messaging option, and of course, on the mobile app as well. A couple of different add-ons here. Some of you might see these options depending on your account. Invite by phone, so I can type in someone's name, enter their phone number, and they'll basically receive a call out when I invite them. Invite a room system. So for those of you that have an H.323 or SIP room system, if you've already made that investment into that hardware-based system, you can still leverage that existing room with Zoom. We do offer our Cloud Room Connector add-on that would allow you to leverage that existing conferencing room with Zoom. So get in contact with the rep. They can provide you with some details on that as well. All right, let's touch on the share option. So when it comes to sharing content, let me move my annotation tools here. When it comes to sharing content, click on share screen. If you happen to be sharing your desktop, like I am right now, there's that tool tray that I have access to. Instead of share screen, it says new share because technically I'm already sharing my desktop. So from here, instantly share your desktop. That's what I'm usually doing here because I bring up my desktop client, I log into my account, bring up this presentation. I'm just kind of sharing multiple things at once. So desktop sharing works for me. If you don't want to share your desktop, you don't have to. You can choose to share one specific, say, application, in case you don't want to give people the view of your desktop. There is a pause share feature, so if you do go to your desktop and you need to browse around, you don't want to give people that view, in the tool tray that is floating on my screen that says pause share, browse my computer, and then I can resume share, and that'll bring you up to that point where I'm at. There's also, of course, the virtual whiteboard. This is going to allow you to draw and annotate using the annotation tools. I've been using that little laser pointer or spotlight feature, but there are these different drawing tools you can use in your own meetings. I'll demo a couple of these here. Change my colors. There is a text option. So this is great in case you're just kind of brainstorming, jotting down some ideas. But keep in mind, you can use these annotations over your presentations that you're sharing as well. So here I can bring up, for example, a little highlighter, annotate over this presentation. You can also save your annotations from there as well. Let me bring this back. All right. Now, as I mentioned, for those of you that are looking to share videos, product videos, your YouTube videos, maybe it's just an MP3 file, an audio file. Before you share that file, click on this box, Share Computer Sound. So you want to check that. That will make sure that the audio streams through your attendees' computer speakers. So I can easily just demo that here real quick. I'm going to escape out of this view here, go back to my desktop, and I have this video that I can share on my desktop here. So I'm going to click and check that box, Share Computer Sound, make sure my audio is up, and I'm going to mute my mic so I can play this video here.
Zoom has revolutionized the conference room with Zoom Rooms. Now introducing Zoom Rooms for Touch. Audio and video conferencing, wireless content sharing, and integrated calendaring, all at your fingertips. All you need is an iPad, a touchscreen, and Zoom. Use the iPad to start a scheduled or on-the-fly meeting. Invite participants and manage the meeting. One tap on the touchscreen to begin whiteboarding your ideas, or screen share wirelessly from your laptop or mobile devices. Easily annotate, draw, highlight, and erase. Record your meeting to the Zoom cloud. Zoom Rooms for Touch. Collaboration is at your fingertips. Visit zoom.us today.
All right, so that was just a quick example. In this case, I had the video on my desktop, but in your own meetings, you can go to a website, share videos from your own computer, MP3 files, whatever the case may be. Just make sure you check that box, share computer sound, before you share that actual file. In this case, that video was showing our Zoom Rooms. So our Zoom Rooms, you've seen the iPad, you've seen the monitor. In this case, that was touching more on the new touchscreen support that we offer for our Zoom Rooms, our conference room solution. And I could touch on our regular Zoom Rooms a little bit later on if we have some time here, but that gives you just kind of a quick idea of a typical little huddle space area that we have set up, in this case with that new touchscreen support. All right, let me go back here to my slide deck. Mention another feature here. Pretty unique feature here at Zoom is the mobile screen share feature. So this is a little bit different than you say join your meeting from your iPhone or Android device. From your device, you can share, for example, like a URL, access Dropbox, box, and share content from there. What this feature allows me to do is basically leverage the AirPlay feature and Wi-Fi connection. So here, when I click on that option, these instructions come up on my screen. So as long as I'm connected to the same Wi-Fi network that my laptop is connected to on my phone, I will be able to mirror what is on my phone into the Zoom meeting. So for example here, let's swipe up here, hopefully I can get a good connection here. I'm in this room, and sometimes Wi-Fi connection, there we go. So now I'm able to mirror what is on my phone into the Zoom meeting. So from here is, for example, our local weather here in San Jose. We're about 40 minutes south of San Francisco, so we're here in the heart of Silicon Valley. So you'll see here I can zoom into our location. So I'm looking at my screen, but I can also see it on my computer screen. So here we are in the heart of downtown San Jose. From here, I can also use this to demo our mobile app. So a lot of app developers are leveraging this feature here. So here's a good example of our mobile app. Pretty much looks exactly like our desktop client. So here I have all my contacts. I can see people's status if they're on their desktop, if they're on their mobile. Meet and chat, so I have all my chat messages. I can join a meeting by entering the meeting ID number. I can schedule or host a meeting. So you'll see I can start an instant meeting with or without video. View my upcoming meetings, start them from here. Schedule a meeting. Same options that I went through when I logged into my account. You can also send photos, record quick voice messages as well, and of course you can actually start instant meetings with the person you're chatting with. I have some different screenshots that I can show you with our mobile app, with our desktop client, because it also syncs up with the desktop client, and I'll actually bring it up in a moment. But you'll see here, I'm able to swipe across and you're able to follow along right with me. So definitely recommend obviously being on a nice Wi-Fi connection, definitely helps as well. Test that feature out for yourself, very unique feature here at Zoom. Let me go back to my slide deck here. And as I mentioned, those instructions will come up on your screen when you test that feature out for yourself. Let's go ahead and touch on the recording feature. So get questions that come in on the recording. So don't forget, for those of you here with the free account, you can record all of your meetings directly to your own computer. Fire up your meeting. Click on record to start recording to your computer. For those of you that have access to cloud recording, when you click on record, you'll see the option record to the cloud or record on this computer. So all the content that you're sharing as well as your audio is going to be captured. But there is a difference between cloud and local when it comes to the capturing the video panels. So whenever you record to the cloud, it's going to capture the active speaker's video. So for example, say we just fired up this meeting, no content was being shared just yet, it's going to have the active speaker in the middle. In the meeting itself, you can view by gallery view. You can basically switch your views, but in the recording, it's going to have the active speaker. When you're not sharing content, right in the middle, and when you share your desktop or an application, the video panel will resize to the small thumbnail view, and it'll place it up at the very top right of the screen in that recording. Now, when you record locally to your own computer, it's going to capture the video panels that you are looking at. So say here, for example, I click on record to this computer. Now I have this option here where I can also pause my recording. And then from there, once I mentioned one more thing here. I mentioned earlier you can allow others to record. Find them in the list, click on more, and you'll see allow record. But once I actually start sharing video or go to that view, it's going to capture the view that I'm looking at. So say we just fired up the meeting, I click on record to this computer, and I happen to be looking at the active speaker. It's going to capture this view. If and when I switch over to gallery view, now it's going to capture the gallery view. Once we start sharing content, from there I have the option to view by thumbnail strip, which can be up to 4. You can actually scroll up and down the different video feeds that are coming through. You can switch over to small or large thumbnail, or say, for example, say for the active speaker. And wherever you place that video panel or thumbnail strip, that's where it's going to be captured in the recording. So you can pretty much, have the layout that you want in your own recording when you do a local recording. One thing to keep in mind is when you do record locally to your own computer, or if that's the only option I should say you have, when it comes to recording, in order to share that recording, you will need to host it somewhere. So if that's the case, you can upload it to, say, Dropbox, Google Drive, YouTube. You can upload it to your YouTube channel. We get people saying they're hosting their videos on, I believe it's Vimeo. So, once you have that recorded, you can pretty much do anything with it. As far as the formats that we provide for you, it's going to be an MP4 video. We also provide you with a separate MP4 audio file in case you want to use that for, say, a podcast, maybe editing purposes. There's also an M3U file, which is basically a playlist file. So say, for example, we stop recording, we end the meeting. I'm going to get a prompt on my screen when I'm recording locally letting me know this file needs to be converted. Very simple, goes through the conversion process, and then my folder opens up. So from here, there are my recorded files. So as I mentioned, MP4 audio, that separate audio file, the MP4 video, and then there's also the M3U file, which, as I mentioned, a playlist file. This is the default path here, Documents, Zoom. There'll be a subfolder for each one of your recorded meetings. For those of you recording to your Zoom account, you'll get an email letting you know your recording is now available. The very first link, that's going to take you to your Zoom account where you can download or view the recording. So if you want to download it maybe back to your own computer, edit the recording and post it somewhere else, you can definitely do that. Second link, you can copy and paste that, send it off in an email. That would be the link to the MP4 video. And then the third one is the MP4 audio file. People will say, hey, what happens if I, accidentally delete the email, or, for whatever reason, I just can't find the email itself. It's okay. You can get to your recordings from, I would say the easiest way would be to go to your desktop client. So from your desktop client, say if you are at the home screen, click on Meetings, you'll see the Recorded tab at the very top. This will give you a list of all of your recordings. So here, that example, this is a cloud recording. That's going to take me to my Zoom account. If I scroll down, this is a local recording. So from here, I can instantly play the MP4 video, listen to just the audio, open the folder, or delete the file. For those of you that maybe want to choose your own folder to record to locally, go to the home screen and then just click on Settings, and you'll see Recording Location. So from here, you can change your file location. So any legitimate path will work. And also take a look at your settings. So here's some general settings: application, content sharing, the instant messaging. You can test out your audio. So here I can test out my headset, test out my video. Maybe I want to use my external versus my internal camera. We've also just added the video background. Works best with a solid color or with the green screen. So here I don't have obviously a green screen. Here in this room that I'm in, this is actually kind of like a huge kind of wallpaper for this. This room is actually called Sharps, as you can tell. So from here, if you have the latest version of Zoom, you can change your images. So we offer you some default ones. And of course, you can add your own images. Here, I don't have a green screen, or else I would be able to demo that. But you can definitely test this out for yourself. To make sure you're on the latest version of Zoom, go back to your desktop client here, drop the menu, check for updates. And of course, you can go to the website. Just go to the download section, and you'll see meeting clients, the latest version of Zoom. Then from there, once you have that, just make sure your settings are all ready to go. Go to your profile, take a look at My Settings. This is actually good just for you to go through in general. You'll see a bunch of different options here. So if you want to enable or disable certain features, click on Edit. Mine is set up, some beta features here, so it might look different than yours. But you'll see, for example, the Breakout Room feature. So from here, all I need to do is click on Edit, make sure that feature's been checked, File Transfer, here's the virtual background. So take a look at these different options that are available here, just to make sure, obviously, you're using all of the features that are available for your own meetings. All right, let me go back to my slide deck here real quick, and let's go ahead and touch on the Breakout Room feature. Before I actually jump into that, just want to mention real quick, for those of you that do have cloud recording, keep in mind you can always log into your account. From your account, there's the My Recordings section of your account, so you'll see a list of all of your recordings in there. Let me actually just shoot over there. I had someone send a question in as far as how to get to that. Let me go back here. So here from my account, you'll see my recordings. It's going to give me a list of recordings from here, and you can view by date range, so you can actually change the range that you're looking from. So for example, here I can click on, here is a webinar that we had this morning. So from here I could download the recording back to my own computer. If I click on share, I can copy and paste this link, send it off an email. I can also set up a password for that. Here is a separate audio file, same options, and I can edit the topic. I can also edit the beginning and the end, so we allow you with your cloud recordings to edit the start and end time. All you need to do is click on play, figure out where do you want it to start, where do you want it to end, and then from there click on choose playback range. Partial, start, end time, and then just click save. Let me fast forward this a little bit. I think this will give you a good example of a cloud recording. So from here, focusing on the active speaker, once we start, I think we're sharing some content here. Here we go. Kind of gives you some little sections here, buffering. So you'll see here, once we actually got into some content sharing, the video panel is going to resize, be placed up on the top right, and the content's going to come up here. All right, let me go back to my slide deck here real quick, and we'll touch on the Breakout Room feature. So with the Breakout Room feature, this is with our meeting platform. From here, you'll see the Breakout Room feature, the little icon there. So all you need to do is basically just click on that. Let me activate my little laser pointer. Click on this. This window comes up. So you can create up to 50 breakout rooms. The maximum number of participants in a room is up to 200. So for those of you here that maybe have an account, your meetings plan can host more than, say, 200 participants. That would be the maximum in one room. Keep in mind, this is a feature within our meeting platform. And our meeting platform can host anywhere from 50 up to 500 participants, depending on the type of account that you want to set up. All right, so from here, for the sake of taking some screenshots, I created one room, and I'm selecting here, in this case, manually break up the participants. Click on Create Rooms. It's going to give me a list of the rooms here. So from here, if I click on Assign, it's going to give me a list of all of my participants. Simply go down the list and check them off. So sign up to the room. If you need to add a room, click on Add a Room, and then check them off and assign to that room. Now, once you open the rooms, they are now in their own breakout room, so they have their own audio, their own video. They're able to share content. I'm still in the main meeting. So if I was still in the main meeting and someone needed some help, the attendees can actually request help. So I would see a prompt on my screen letting me know Alicia in breakout room 1 is asking for help. So I would see that if I'm in the main meeting or if I'm in a different breakout room. I can join from the prompt or just click on later and then just go back to the list of rooms and I could join from there. Now once I join the room, I'm in the breakout room. So now I can see and hear everything that's going on. If I'm recording, it's going to capture my activity. So if I'm jumping from breakout room 1 to breakout room 20, that recording feature is going to basically follow me along and capture what I'm doing. Now with the list of rooms, you can delete rooms. You can also move people around, so I can move Alicia to breakout room 2. I can also exchange Aaron and Alicia. Now eventually, once you close all the rooms, everyone receives a prompt letting you know, hey, in 30 seconds these rooms are going to close. Once that happens, everyone is back into the main meeting. Now for some reason, if you fire up your meeting and you don't see the breakout room feature, log into your account, take a look at your profile settings and make sure that feature has been checked. If you're not able to check it, get in contact with your admin. It's most likely that the site admin has disabled that feature. They can actually enable and disable certain features. All right. almost toward the end here. Just talk real quick here on our group messaging. So earlier I showed you the mobile app. So don't forget, with the mobile app, you can send text messages, photos, audio files. You can see people's status if they're on their desktop, if they're on the mobile device. You can easily collaborate across groups. We have a bunch of groups set up here at Zoom. And of course, if you're chatting with someone, you can start an instant meeting with that person. Also, if you're chatting with someone, it keeps that history and thread going, so you can continue that conversation back at your desktop. So from here, I'll have multiple, say, chats going on. I could start an instant meeting with that person that I'm chatting with. I could send a screen capture, photos, files. There's also some emojis or some emoticons you can also use as well. Here I took a quick screenshot. One, because I would not be able to give you this view of the window. There's a privacy feature, so I can open it up, and I could see it on my end, but you wouldn't. So obviously a good feature in case someone pings you and you're in a Zoom meeting. You can definitely open up your that instant message from Zoom, from your contacts in there. Here, start without video or with video, so this is going to fire up a brand new instant meeting for you. Don't forget, if you want to start one that you scheduled, go to the meetings icon at the very bottom of your desktop client. And of course, I can join a meeting from here by entering the meeting ID. Let me go back here. Someone asked as far as adding contacts to the desktop client. So from the desktop client itself, and keep in mind, everyone has access to the desktop client. So we got you covered when it comes to mobile, the desktop, instant messaging, and of course, just meetings in general. So from here, here's the desktop client. You see some of these options are obviously not there because I'm currently in this Zoom meeting. So from here, meetings, upcoming, recorded, contacts. So here I can add a contact, email address, or I can copy the invitation and send that off. Add a group. I had one that I added for a webinar that we were hosting a couple weeks ago. All I need to do is click on add a group, type in the group name, check them off, and then create that group. Some of you might see group setup, business, like sales, support, IT. If you already see group setup, it's most likely that you're probably on a business plan. And of course from here, chat. So you'll be able to see the very first line, but if I open it up, you're not going to be able to see the chat messages that are going on there. So definitely take advantage of the desktop client. We use it here pretty much all day, every day. We have an office here, obviously in San Jose. We have one in Santa Barbara. There's one in Kansas City, Denver, and we have people that are remote just in general here in the U.S. and of course outside the U.S. as well. But as I mentioned, desktop client, mobile app, everyone has access to that. I'll show you a quick couple of screenshots here with our Zoom rooms. I shared that video earlier with the touchscreen support, but this would be our typical Zoom room layout, for example, for this type of room. But you can set up a small huddle space. So it's basically our software running that conference room. So it's not like your typical, say, hardware-based systems. Here, you would need, for example, an iPad for controls to control the meeting itself. And of course, it can run on your choice of a Mac or a PC. From there, everything is basically off the shelf, so you can pretty much build out your own room. We support 1, 2, or 3 monitors. It could be your choice. You can go big with some nice 60 and 70-inch, TVs. Small huddle space, maybe one, TV, up to you. USB-based, for example, say mic and speaker systems. If you have a phone system, you can leverage that as well. There's also, of course, your choice of cameras. With our Zoom rooms, you can have one in the front, one in the rear. With the iPad itself, you can actually switch and control all of that from there. This is a little bit different setup. This, of course, has the dual monitors, camera in the front that looks like it has some mics hanging from the ceiling. And, of course, on the table, the iPad, it looks like a USB-based, also, say, mic and speaker setup there as well. But as I mentioned, you could pretty much customize the room, depending, of course, even on your budget for that matter. With the scheduling, so as far as booking your rooms, your Zoom rooms, works with Google and Exchange, so it'd be like you booking any other resource. So if you already booked resources, for example, in Exchange, it would be exactly the same. You're just basically setting up that directory for those Zoom rooms. In the room itself, you walk in, iPad is right there, list of upcoming meetings. If yours is next to on the list, it'll be a nice little orange, literally just one button, click on start, fires up your audio, your video, and you're pretty much ready to go. Keep in mind, of course, you can also use that room to start an instant meeting in case it's not being used. You can also leverage the monitors just to share content in there. And one thing is there is no cables or dongles that you need to connect. The Zoom rooms you connect wirelessly, so you can share content without connecting any sort of cables to that room. On the iPad itself, very simple layout when it comes to the controls. Touch screen, so all the controls as far as muting yourself, muting your participants, removing someone. You can set up your directory, so if you have everyone there within your organization, maybe some other endpoints or other Zoom rooms, you can have that list there, populated on the iPad itself. Phone or email, you could change your layout, gallery view, speaker view. Also, if you happen to have a camera that offers PTZ, so pan, tilt, zoom, you can control all of that from the iPad itself. And of course, if you have cloud recording, you can activate recording from there as well. So definitely an easy setup. We have, I don't even know how many rooms we have here. I think we have maybe like about 9 or 10 here in this building. But very, very simple layout. I mean, like I said, you don't necessarily have to spend tens of thousands of dollars to have a nice conference room or even small huddle space. Zoom rooms is definitely the way to go here. And if you have any questions, you can always get in contact with one of our reps. Go to zoom.us. This number that you see on the screen will get you in contact with someone. This is also the number that's on our website. All right, that does conclude today's All About